Hello and welcome to Crypto Happy Hour. This is episode 5, and today we're going to talk about some of the major things that we've learned over the last 6 months of our career in investing in cryptos. So, I'm Dustin Kane.
I'm Todd Wilson.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. It's been a wild ride for the first 6 months.
It has been. We have seen and lived through the highest of highs.
Mm-hmm.
And what could be considered some of the lowest lows of all time.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that all this has happened in 6 months.
It is. It's really the stock market on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
What can happen in a day or even a week is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean the quick recap is as soon as we got in, it skyrocketed.
It did.
And we both sort of took different tactics along the way while it skyrocketed, and then it went down. And then it kept going down, and then it was stagnant for months.
Yeah, really probably 2 months almost. We had absolutely no movement. We'd text back and forth, just waiting for something to happen, and nothing happened.
Right. So it went from this really amazingly fun thing we talked about every day. The money was moving all over the place to nothing.
Yeah.
To just trying to find something to talk about with cryptos.
Yeah.
For months.
Yeah.
But now we're back on the upswing again.
Yeah.
So
when there wasn't a lot to talk about crypto-wise, we drank more beer, which was fine.
Yeah.
But now that the needle's moving up again, and we see some green on my crypto apps, we've got some things to talk about again.
Yeah. So I think we can talk about this first one because I think this is the major one that we discovered. The most important thing is sell on the way up.
Absolutely.
Cash out.
Man, if I could go back in time about 3.5 months and cash out, right around the new year or so, a little bit after, and then take that amount and put it into where I am now, it'd have been great. And honestly, I think that we've talked about this before, the FOMO, the FOMO, the fear of missing out. That is, it's alive, and it happens to all of us, and we were all in that same boat of not wanting to miss out on the big cash out. And what happened was that it skyrocketed, and what goes up is eventually going to come back down, and it came down hard. And had we
didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
You just think it's going to go one, even though you know that.
Yeah.
FOMO is a real thing.
Yeah, and we kept telling each other this is not going to last forever.
Right.
It's going to eventually correct itself on some level. We just didn't know to the extent of what you did.
Right. Which I think if we had done research and you look historically, this has happened many times.
It has.
In the life of cryptos.
It has.
Almost to the same percentages.
Yeah.
It just goes up, and then it corrects to about half, and then it goes up again, and it corrects. I mean, it's fascinating. So. We took different tacks on this. You didn't cash out.
I did not
on the way up. I did not want to cash out, but I made a promise to myself that I was going to pay myself back the money that I invested. So I did do that, and then it kept going up a little bit more, and then it started to go down, and I don't know, a part of the way on the way down, it just looked like it was going to continue to go down. There was no excitement. I pulled a lot more out. Even then, I was scared to do it. I really thought that it was going to keep going up, and I was going to miss out. I was going to be the guy who sold all of his Ripple right before it went to $20 a coin. And, but it worked out for me.
As far as an initial investment goes, you got your money back out.
Got money out.
And thankfully for me, one thing that I did do was I diversified my portfolio enough that though things did go down, I only momentarily, only at the lowest of lows did I ever dip below my initial investment just a little bit.
Right.
Thankfully, I was able to always maintain that level, or in the positive, in the green, which was good.
Right.
But let's talk about our portfolios and diversifying what we have.
Yeah.
I know.
Because that is the next big thing that we learned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is diversifying your portfolio is key.
Yeah, you see a lot of guys that we follow on different social media outlets that have learned that lesson the hard way.
Yes.
They put all of their eggs in one basket, and all it takes is just a couple bad weeks or a couple bad months, and next thing you know, you went from being you went from planning your retirement to back in the poorhouse, and we don't want that for anybody.
No. And all that, the not diversifying stems from FOMO also.
Absolutely.
I mean, you hear someone talking about, oh, this coin is the next Bitcoin that's going to go through the roof. It's going to go to the moon, and next thing you know, you're contemplating moving all of your money into that one coin.
Yeah.
And people do it, and then you miss out on the next thing. I mean, diversifying and selling on the way up were the two big ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
For us.
And I know, just speaking of the last week or so, the coins that I've got have done really well. Like they've had steady gains, whether it's just a few percentage points every day or even up to like 10 or 15 percentage points a day. They've all gained.
Right.
Now there are other coins, hot ticket coins, hot names, that have gone up more than that. And it's taken a lot to not just shift everything to that one coin.
Absolutely.
For those exact reasons we talked about.
Yeah. I think though that we've learned our lesson enough to where we can hold steady on these game plans. All right, real quick, why don't you talk about your
absolutely.
beverage of choice here?
Oh, in honor of the market, this bull market that we're in, and everything turning green, I bought a green beer today, and it tastes good too. This is called Modus Hoperandi from the Ska Brewing Company out of Durango, Colorado. It's a really nice beer. I discovered this, a buddy of mine who also is in cryptos, we'll have him on as a guest someday, introduced me to this several years ago, and it's been a go-to since then.
Well, I gotta say, I'm not gonna try it because I've got my favorite beer of all time, but I do love that name. So
it's a good name.
Props to them for a good name. I will not be drinking it. I'm sticking to my old faithful here, Natural Light, the greatest beer ever made. All of you guys know this from all of the episodes so far. This is the only thing I'll be drinking.
My question to you is, at what temperature is Natty Light best served?
Any of them.
Yeah,
that's actually, it's a great ice cold. It tastes still good no matter what temperature.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're desperate, you can drink it at room temperature. It's fine.
Wow.
It works.
Good to know.
Yeah. Ice cold is great though.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of lies,
Yeah.
one thing that I've learned, especially during those during the highest of highs, I guess, and the other days as well, but not to believe everything we see out there, because we see a lot of just propaganda pushing coins one direction or another.
Yeah, it's no doubt. I mean, when we started, we joined a Facebook group. A lot of great articles around there.
Yeah.
A lot of great suggestions. We learned a lot for sure, but there's just so much stuff out there with just what seems unbelievable turns out to be obviously unrealistic. I mean, I follow a lot of people on Twitter.
Yeah.
The information is just such an overload.
Yeah.
And it's hard to figure out what's right.
You really have to filter through it and check your sources and all that kind of thing, all that kind of stuff, because you can't believe it all.
No. What was the quote you?
Oh yeah. Well, oftentimes you want to buy the rumor and sell the news, because sometimes you'll hear of a rumor and you see the needle being pushed up and all this green coming your way, and then the news gets released and it's not that big a deal, or it's not really good news at all, and then the all of a sudden nothing but red and the price drops. So when you hear those rumors coming out and you see prices increasing, that's a great time to sell, because it's coming back down eventually.
Yeah, you really cannot believe anything, even from very mainstream news sources.
Yeah.
I've still seen just stuff that never even came close to becoming reality.
Yeah, even from the actual coin itself, and Ripple puts out a lot of good information.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying any of it's false, but I am saying that some of that news isn't as big as maybe what they'd like it to be.
Absolutely. And we could be the last people to be hearing that news.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's already set in the price.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're so early in this game that the people that are really involved in this, the decisions are being made earlier.
Yeah.
Before we get the news.
Before we get it. Yep.
And so, all right, well, let's move on to the last thing. I think this is something that I started doing, and we started talking about, and then you came in and you had a nice twist on it. But the one thing that's important to us is to increase your coin balance without adding more money. We need to be putting limit buys and sells constantly.
Yeah.
To take advantage of the rises and the falls of the market, and it's a nice way to increase your balance of your portfolio.
Yeah, and I know that sometimes it's hard to do. You can't just you can't stare at your computer all day.
Right.
I don't know that, but I know just a few times that I have done this where I see a big spike in something and I put in a sell, and you know, I hate to jinx myself, I guess,
Right.
but I'm batting 1,000 on this. Just the few times that I've done this after a big increase, and I sell off my, you know, not all, but some of my coins.
Right.
It's always come back down. It's always dipped, and I've rebought in more coins than I had previously.
Right. And one thing that I've been doing is just putting in a sell order for a small percentage of my portfolio. So I'll put 25% of what I own in Ripple. I'll sell if it reaches a certain
That's
price. Just in case, that way you're hedging your bets. If you miss it, you've only sold a portion of it, and it will come back down, and you can rebuy when it goes below that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something that I'm going to start doing quite a bit, just to see, because I've sold off most of my portfolio. I'm now down to a smaller balance. So I think I'm going to take this sort of run that we're on right now, which will have highs and lows along the way, and see if I can increase my balance over time. So anyway, those are some of the things that we've learned over our short time in cryptos, and we hope this helps you out. Cheers.
Cheers.